This review is of CAD Audio PodMaster D USB Professional Broadcast Podcasting Microphone. And I had actually I had actually been suggested a one that was half this price by a guy, but when I reached up on the shelf, I grabbed this one instead, and I said, "Is this the one?" And he said, "Yeah." So it's fine though. I mean, it was like I think it was like $20 or $30. This one was $40 on sale, and this is actually designed in Ohio but made in China. And I've been using this for quite a few months now. I think I bought this back in either November or December, so it's been about half a year that I've been using this microphone for a lot of my videos. Actually, for maybe it's not 6 months. Now that I think about it, I think I did not immediately start using it, so maybe it was 5 months. Since this is mid-May, well, actually the end of May. Yeah, so I'll say 5 months. Anyways, and it says that you can. I guess I should show you. It comes on this. It's a boom mic, and so I've got the clamp. If I can get this off, wow, it's a pain in the butt. I find this particular clamp to be both convenient and inconvenient. It's convenient because I have that metal bar there for turning it that makes it easier to turn it. I can apply more pressure. At the same time, however, it is inconvenient in some ways because it is so long. I mean, I'm not sure why they made it as long as they did. Because, well, I guess they probably did that because if you look at the thickness of my desk and the remaining leftover thickness of the screwed rod there, it seems like it could be used to clamp to even to something very, very thin. But most desks don't have a very thin surface, so they must have been really thinking, well, let's make this as flexible as possible. So it's actually good. It's just, in my case, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt because if I have something sitting here and I try to close my keyboard tray, it can collide with that bolt. And this thumb screw here does not necessarily do as great of a job as I would hope. Also, I had wanted to flip the whole thing over so that I could have the rod pointing up instead of down, and it's not designed to do that. So I can't take, if you look here, there's this metal or this plastic piece right here. See if I can give you more light. There you go. There's that plastic piece there. That is not actually something that I can remove and put on the other side. And the reason being is if I wanted to use this down here, I can get it in to the hole partially. That's my first problem. The second problem that I have is that I would have to drill another hole in here and I would have to thread it. So I need a tap and die set. That's a whole lot of effort. A whole lot more than I'm willing to do at this point in time. Maybe in the future, but not now. Okay, so it is a decent boom, and I'm not an expert on booms, so I can't say wherein lie the flaws to this boom. as compared to like professional level booms. I think perhaps one of the things would be that the quality of the metal probably could be improved upon. And yeah, probably to avoid accidental bending. But I'm not rough on it, so I haven't had that problem. The biggest problem is there's no like easy way to put this cable so it stays out of the way. So that's a little bit of an annoyance. But, sometimes what I'll do is I'll wrap it around. And then when I need to actually take my mic off of this boom, then I'm like, trying to wrestle it off of there. So it's a little bit awkward that way. Now, as far as the boom, it does not sit straight in that hole. Now I can tighten that thumb screw that I showed you so that it doesn't turn quite so easily, but it's still turnable. So I'm actually damaging the plastic, possibly. But it would take a long time because it's going to be just friction between the plastic and the metal of the base of the boom rather than the screw and the plastic or the bolt and the plastic. But I can tighten that up really to only a certain point. So even though it's designed with a, I guess you could call it a tab, even though it's designed with a tab that would allow the bolt to push against the so imagine this is that side, the bolt is going here, right? And there's a slit here and here on that. So when the bolt is screwed in, it pushes against that tab, and in theory it's pushing that tab against the rod, making it harder for the rod to turn. But I'm turning it as far as I can now. It makes no difference. So it is not an effective way to keep the rod from turning to the side. However, it's very hard to lift it out with it tightened up. So if you're worried about it coming out for some reason, that's great. But if you're worried about it turning side to side, the thumb screw doesn't help. So that's a bit of a design flaw. Not one that's unforgivable, but it is what it is, right? Okay. So, what else? I don't like the clamp. Now, the clamp makes it very easy for you to release it. However, I find that if I have to choke it very close to the puff, or whatever you call this thing. What is that called? Windscreen. It's not even a windscreen though. This foam rubber. I have to have the clamp on it very close to the foam rubber, because if I don't, it tends to sag. So more of the weight is up here. And I wonder if I can't remember, so I'm going to just double check. Nope, I've got all the parts out. It does come with this. It does come with this basic. It shows you what you get. The wind screen, which is foam rubber, not a wind, and the USB cable and the mounting clip and the boom arm stand. And a warning in the state of California. It's oh my gosh, BPA. It's got BPA in the product. I'm not sure if you can actually get sick from being around BPA, if it's like a fume or vapor thing, or if you actually have to consume something that has BPA in it. So if somebody happens to know that, I'd be curious to know. But yeah, so this is what you get, and this is what I got. And as far as specifications Front address broadcast podcast style design. Front address. Front address means that you speak this way into the microphone. Speaking into it from the side doesn't work very well. And speaking to it from a distance, also, this is not a condenser mic. So as I move away from the microphone, my voice rapidly decreases in volume. Broadcast quality dynamic capsule. World-class USB circuitry. Aggressive and detailed audio reproduction. Headphone monitor. Oh, that's because on here you can plug in a headphone. Why? I don't know. But you can. It doesn't seem useful to me, but whatever. And then you have to go into your settings in your OS and turn it on, assuming that your OS has the ability to recognize that it's got that. But don't turn it on. I didn't realize what it was when I was setting it up. And I was like, why is my microphone... It was like, I think it was my speakers actually stopped working. It's like, what's going on? And then I realized I'd turned that on and I wasn't using it. So I turned it off. So yeah, pay attention to that. Studio quality echo signal processing, which I guess is a fancy way of saying is it's got a potentiometer for you to adjust the echo. Isn't that nice? I keep it off. Honestly, I don't really know why people want echo. I'm not a sound technician or anything like that, so I don't really see the purpose of having echo. But okay, if you want echo. Quality all metal construction. Well, all metal, hey. Well, we've got a plastic clamp. We've got a plastic thumb screw and a plastic holder for the rod at the base down here. We've got this thing that's made of plastic. We got this one that's made of plastic. We've got this that's made of foam rubber. And then, of course, there's the shielding for the USB cable. So I don't really know why, and this is plastic too. I don't know really why they would mark it as all metal when it's not. Includes broadcast style boom, arm stand, mounting clip, USB cable, and windscreen. And they're very clever, and I'm not being sarcastic here, I'm being serious, because people will go to the store not particularly understanding that what a microphone can be used for, and I fall somewhat into that category. Condenser versus this front broadcast, and then there's the ones where you can be on the side and it's just the same as over here, and so on and so forth. I'm not very well versed in that at all. So they took the time to list video, podcast, voiceover, gaming, broadcast, boom. But the specifications are very minimal. So all they tell us is polar pattern is cardioid, whatever that means. Frequency response is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So any noises, if you're doing something where you're getting a very, very wide range of noises, or you need to have full spectrum of noise in your recordings, this is not the microphone for you, because it only goes from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So anything below 20 hertz, anything above 20 kilohertz. And again, this is within the normal range for all humans. It's typically between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz. But the average adult, usually because of damage to the ears, listening to loud music, for example, especially the people who put massive speakers into their car and then sit in their car blasting their music to the point that the car is vibrating and everybody within a 100-foot radius can hear their music quite clearly. I mean, literally quite clearly. Yeah, you're dumb. You're destroying your eardrums. But whatever. That's your problem that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. So as you get older, through aging and also through damage, maybe you're in a work environment that's noisy, like I am at Amazon, KCVG. Your the top end of the range can just drop down to 15 to 17,000. The bottom end can also come up. It depends on what kind of noises you're hearing. If you're hearing a lot of bass, you could lose spots on the low end of the spectrum. If you're hearing a lot of treble, you could get stuff missing spots, I guess you could say, or spots that you no longer hear on the upper end of the spectrum. You can lose the ability to hear anywhere within the spectrum. So, but if you're doing testing where you're trying to catch sounds that are outside of the range of human hearing, this is not the microphone for you. However, this does cover the entire spectrum of the normal spectrum of human hearing. There are people who have exceptional hearing abilities. I think they're quite rare, but they do exist. So, and then the sensitivity is minus 43 decibels V at 1 Pascal. A Pascal is, I believe that's a measurement of pressure in this case. That's actually kind of high. But let me see, what is that? Look that up for you. dBV at 1 PA. Okay. Okay, so decibel volt. Convert decibel relative to 1 volt per 1 Pascal. Okay, let's try this. We'll try converting it just to see what we get. And we will put in minus 43 decibels. And that equivalent is... Well, that doesn't really help me. Well, all right, so decibel per at 1 micropascal would be minus 163. At 1 dyne per square centimeter would be minus 63, and also at 1 microbar would be minus 63. Transfer factor volts per Pascal would be 0.007079457843841. Wow. And then transfer factor for millivolt per Pascal would be 7.0794557, blah, blah, blah. And transfer factor for microvolt per Pascal would be 7079.457, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is decibels related to volts instead of dBA, which is the standard way to measure how we hear sounds. Because the way we hear sounds is for anatomical reasons and maybe by neurological reasons as well, I'm not sure, not the same. So when you look at measurements of sound, you are typically seeing dBA or decibels A, and that's specific to the human perception of sound. So it's been modified in that respect. If it doesn't say dBA, is it dBA? It's not certain. They should have marked it as dBA, but people don't always mark a dBA when it is dBA. All right, so getting back to the microphone. You've been listening to the microphone for the last 19 minutes. Now, initially when I first started using this, I did have a little bit of problems with some weird noises happening. And I have had certain occasions where something got funky with the operating system and I was getting some distortions. Sometimes that was just feedback that I was hearing when I listened to the recording and had nothing to do with the recording itself. And other times it was in the recording. Sometimes there was this note or like tone that was kind of distracting. When I restart the computer, those problems stop. So I'm going to put that blame on Windows or maybe my installation of Windows needs to be refreshed, which I should probably do soon anyways. But I just did it earlier this year, so I don't really see the point in doing it again. But you tell me, please, in the comments, how does it sound? Now, granted, when I go back here, you lose a lot of the bass first. That's the first thing that seems to go is the bass, if I'm not mistaken. So you tell me, what am I losing when I go like this? And let me do a little singing here. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So you tell me, how did that sound? I mean, if I made mistakes in the tonality, yeah, I'm really, really, really out of practice when it comes to singing. I used to sing a lot when I was a teenager. In my 20s, I was in choirs and stuff. Not that I'm like professional grade or anything. I have too many inconsistencies with my singing because of allergies and stuff. And also, I've got this weird thing that if I can project my voice very, very strongly, but that will bring on coughing. And I don't know what's causing that. That's been for most of my life. So yeah, I never went the route of a professional singer because I never felt my voice was consistent enough. And then the problem of when I project, like when I do public speaking, or if I just have to talk to somebody long enough at work, where it's very noisy, I start coughing and I feel very self-conscious about that. Because I don't want people to think, oh my God, this guy's sick and he's coughing in my face. And every once in a while, it is a genuine cough, and I don't realize it because I'm really, really trying to project. But let's see if I can project for you here. Sorry if I broke your ears. I hope you were prepared for that. I should have warned you. Maybe I'll have to edit this and add that in. Yeah, that's a good idea. Anyways, okay, so I don't like the clamp because it's not quite strong enough. I've had problems. Also, if I try to rotate this, then I have this problem of the cable running into here, and it could potentially damage the USB port on this side. So you can't put it this way to help, unless you're going to do it like this. If you're going to have it way up here like this. But I often put it down so I can get it out of my way because I don't want to have it sticking out like that, because then I'm going to hit it when I stand up and I'm not paying attention, and I'm going to knock it off and it's going to get broken. So I need to have the flexibility to do what I got to do. Also, the whole thing with turning this is controlled here. I can control that pretty well. But again, this is plastic, not metal, so I have to be careful not to put too much pressure on it because I don't want to snap that. Sorry. Seems like there was something else I want to tell you. So basically, in my opinion, this is really nice. I kind of wish I'd gone with a lapel microphone instead. And the reason I say that is simply because with a lapel microphone, it's got a condenser mic in it, so it would be able to pick up my voice whether I'm near or far. It gives me more flexibility in movement, whereas if I'm doing something with my computer, it's really problematic, especially if I need both hands and I can't position the boom in such a way that the mic is by my mouth. And the mic isn't going to follow me around as I'm moving, as I'm doing something with my computer. So that is, if you're doing like a podcast where you're being very static, this is fine. However, if you are planning to do things where you need to move around, this is less than ideal. This is less than great. This is less than good because it is hard unless you're going to just be moving within a certain orbit within your desk space and staying in front of the microphone here. I mean, you can hear how far I can go before you start to lose the fidelity or lose the range, I should say, of the microphone. So it's really very limiting. And so I think that for podcasting and broadcasting, it's fine. But for if you're going to be active, like when I do public speaking, I prefer to stand up, because if I sit down, then I get sleepy or lazy. And then, standing up allows me to put more energy and more action into what I'm saying. And I can't do that with this. The lack of an audience is maybe I should put some pictures of people watching me behind my monitor, a pair of eyes looking up from the top of my monitor, because I find this difficult for me to exert the same amount of energy and enthusiasm, unless I get really passionate or something, as I would in front of an actual audience. So, but that's not to do with the microphone. The limitations of a boom mic are not specific to this boom mic. They are boom mics in general, and the limitation of front address is universal to all front address microphones. So none of these are complaints about the product itself. It's the type of microphone. And, my lack of understanding of microphones being what it is, I didn't consider even that I was going to need a lapel microphone. So yeah, I think my next microphone purchase will be a lapel microphone. And some people using desktop microphones, and I think that's even worse than a boom mic, unless it's a condenser mic. So if you're going to buy a mic that is on the desk, make sure it is not a front address or side address. Make sure it's got unless it's got a condenser function in it, or components in it. So overall, setting aside the fact that this is not the ideal microphone for what I do sometimes, I still feel this is a really good deal, because there are microphones out there that cost way more and don't offer much more. I mean, the other things, other than the headset jack and the echo, the other thing is this is the recording volume. So as I speak to you, this is getting quieter. And so so this is nice that I can adjust my recording volume. I always keep it on maximum though, so it doesn't really make a huge difference to me. But for some people, I'm sure you might want to keep it running, but turn off your volume, because you want to show that you're speaking to somebody without the microphone picking it up, but you don't want people to know, and that's something that does occasionally happen. And so there are purposes for that. My objection to this microphone is, short of disconnecting it in the operating system or unplugging the cable, I have no way to turn it off, which I find really irritating. Shut up, Amazon. There, I put it over there. I find it really irritating, because I used to unplug it after every session, and then I would go to do another session, and I would forget I'd unplugged it, and I would do a 20-30 minute video with it not plugged in. So I had no sound. And that was really annoying. And so sometimes instead of that, I would turn off the volume, and then I'd forget to turn the volume on. So I really wish this had an on-off button that made it obvious the state. I mean, this has got lighting on it. Let me see if I can show you. But it is almost invisible unless you see it from the right angle. So let me show you. So as you can see, the lighting of the microphone is way, way, way too dim. So it's really hard to tell that it's even there. So it's useless. I mean, I would have preferred something brighter. Still blue is fine. Purple would be fine. Red would be fine. It doesn't really matter as long as it's not putting out so much light that it's like a visible all the time kind of thing, distracting from visual aspects of a recording. But yeah, so I think it would have been nice if there was some way for me to safely having the cable running along here, but that it was loose. So it'd be like that. Oh, sorry. Over there. You're not over there. You're over there. So that there was a loose space around the cable so it could adjust as I'm moving the microphone. That would be nice. But, for $40, I guess, what can you expect? And I don't know what the original price might have been. Yeah. So I guess that's it. I'm not an expert on microphones, so I am hesitant to give a score to this product. So I'm not going to. But I think it's a good product. I think it's worth the $40 for sure. And I'm not sure if it's worth more than that. If you happen to be an audio expert, if you happen to know a lot about microphones, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you can put them down below in the comments, that would be fantastic, because I would love to learn from people who know a lot about microphones. I didn't even, when I was at the store, sorry, I've got a scratch here and it's itching, it's healing. When I was at the store choosing a microphone, I forgot to look it up, because I was asking the sales agent, look, I'm just looking for something inexpensive. I'm a small-time YouTuber. I really don't have a lot of money to put into this. Every bit of money that I put into this has been my own money. And very foolishly last year I spent way, way, way too much. I'm trying to control myself this year. The only positive about that is that my tax return was bigger than it would have been otherwise. But that is not my incentive to try to maximize my tax return by spending and going into the red again, because then I still lose money. I have products. Anyways, I digress. So when I talked to the guy, I said, I just want something that's good quality but inexpensive, maybe locally made if possible. And he said, well, this is designed in Ohio, but it's not. It's made in China, and most everything is made in China. Yeah, because we're helping China. China has moved into the modern age to a large degree because of America and Europe putting all the manufacturing into China, which is ironic after the Cold War and all of the negative rhetoric, past and present, about China. It is incredibly ironic because we're talking about China has been ramping up military. China has been essentially taking over countries just like the Dutch used to do, and the English used to do, and other nations used to do. And that China is such a big threat, and we're the reason. And in a twist of fate, Hollywood kowtows and has kowtowed to China for over 25 years. The Chinese marketplace for Hollywood films is larger by far, because they've got more than 1 billion people, remember, than our home market. We've only got, 300, 400,000, something like that? So if China is offended by something an American actor says, an American actor is pressured a lot to apologize. John Cena did it. If China doesn't like a film, the film will be either scuttled or it will be released with minimal press. And there was a movie by I forgot the name of it was a movie about something in Chinese history. that did not put China in a positive light. And China's always trying to make itself in a positive light all the time, despite all the atrocities that have occurred in Chinese history. I mean, same here in America. I mean, American history is full of atrocities, and the American government, on behalf of the business people, continues to commit atrocities worldwide. So it's not like we're saints, but China wants to bury all that. They don't want all that exposed, and they put pressure, a large, influential amount of pressure. So if you can imagine, somebody in China calls up Hollywood and the Screenwriters Guild or whatever and says, "Look, pull this movie, or we will ban all of your products for the next however many years." I'm digressing. Holy crap! I'm supposed to be talking about a microphone. Anyways, that is my review of this microphone plus. A few negatives. I don't think that they're purchase killers. But if you're looking for a high-end product with high-end features, this is a basic one. It's a good starting point if you're on a limited budget, and $40 is reasonable for you. Now, I'm not sure about the model number on this. There's a part number 47830-42-00, and then on the sticker here it says AMS-PM1100. And when I search for PodMaster D, I do see PM1100 for $30. Of course, that's Amazon. Amazon undercuts everybody. $30 on World Music Supply, $70 on Musician's Friend. Not at that price. $70 on Full Compass Systems. $45 on. Let's see, Walmart. Walmart's usually overpriced a little bit. And then Reverb has it for $40. So yeah, so you should be able to get it for as low as $30. eBay, it's there for $30. So yeah, if you want to spend $100 on it, you can spend $100 on it. If you want to spend $30 on it, you can spend $30 on it. Even $20 on Full Compass Systems. I'm not sure if that's exactly the same model, but it looks like it could be. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll try to not babble so much in the future. Have a great day.